Hello everybody and welcome back to Card Karma. Today the latest installment in my Legacy deck series is going to cover possibly the BDIF, the best deck in the format, and that's Genesect Celebi. And I'm calling it Genebi, you call it whatever you like. If you have a better name, feel free to drop it in the comments. But yeah, we're looking at Genesect. He's been known, he's been a threat in pretty much every metagame he's ever been a part of, all the way back to when he was in Standard, dominating the game. It's no different here in Legacy, except he gets the added benefit of Celebi Prime. Now, Celebi Prime has the Pokepower Forest Breath. Once during your turn, if Celebi is your active, you may attach a grass from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So this effectively allows you to get 2 energy attachments per turn, assuming you have grass and another energy to attach. So, what makes Genesect EX so good? First of all, 170 HP is pretty good in this format. There's not a ton of big HP EXs, but there's a couple. But he's just nice and bulky. He has an ability called Red Signal, and this one is possibly the best ability in Legacy format. I mean, you can make some corner cases for some, but Red Signal, when you attach a plasma energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may switch one of your opponent's bench with their active. So it effectively makes attaching a plasma the equivalent of using a Lysander supporter card, which is unreal. There's no Lysander in this format. There's Pokemon Catcher and Pokemon Reversal, which have the effect but rely on a coin flip, and then there's Bright Look, Ninetales. Other than that, there's really no way to Lysander, so-called your opponent's Pokemon out. So Red Signal is amazing strictly for that. I mean, you could run Genesect just for that ability, and it would still be pretty good. Now going further, if you look into his attack, Megalo Cannon. For 2 grass and a colorless, it does 100 damage, pretty good damage output, and it also does 20 damage to the bench, which is not to be scoffed at. It definitely can add up over time or set up for later KOs. So yeah, that's Genesect. Now, unlike the old Genesect decks that were called Virgin, because they relied on Virizion and Genesect, using Virizion's Emerald Slash to attach energy from your deck to the Genesects and power them up, we're not relying so much on that. Since we have Celebi, we have that fast acceleration, we don't really need to use his attack just to accelerate our energies. But we do run 1 copy of him strictly for his ability Verdant Wind. Any Pokemon that has a grass energy attached cannot be affected by special conditions. So say goodbye to lasers, say goodbye to Amoonguss, say goodbye to sleeping effects. None of that's going to bother you because you have Verdant Wind protecting you. Looking at the rest of the deck, we have 1 copy of Smeargle. He's a good lead. His Portrait of Pokepower, once during your turn, if Smeargle is your active, you can look at your opponent's hand. If you do, choose a supporter there and use it as the effect of this Pokepower. So not only do you get to take a peek at your opponent's hand, but you get the chance to use a second supporter for a turn. So you can play your own supporter and then use your opponent's, or maybe you don't have a supporter, you can use your opponent, get it in, draw into another supporter, and use that one, because this does not count as your supporter for the turn. So it effectively gives you a way to use 2 supporters in 1 turn. 70 HP, so he doesn't get knocked out. Landorus doesn't one-shot him even. He has 1 retreat cost, which is pretty good, especially with Sky Arrow Bridge. So Smeargle's good. Now Celebi, like I said, part of the namesake of the deck. Celebi Prime with Forest Breath lets you attach energies, has 1 retreat cost as well, so it also works with Sky Arrow Bridge. We run 1 copy of Egg. This is just to make those uses of Junk Arm and Ultra Ball a bit easier on your resources, and yeah, he doesn't really take up too much room in the deck or anything like that. You obviously don't want to start with him, that'd be the worst case scenario, but other than that, he's nice to have. You could easily replace him in the deck for something else if you chose. 3 copies of Genesect, he's the main attacker in the deck. 1 copy of Shaman with Celebration Wind Pokepower. Once during your turn, when you put Shaman from your hand, you may move as many energy cards as you like that are attached. You can move them all around. So if you use Virizion early on to power up, and then you want to switch them over to a Genesect to use G-Booster or whatever, this Shaman can help you do that. It's really nice to have, and again, it's only a 1-of, so it's not taking up a lot of space. Your strategy isn't reliant on it, but it's a nice tech to have for sure. As our non-EX option, since you do want to have a non-EX option, I think it's a lot easier than G-Boostering, those safeguarders and whatnot. This Virizion, he's not that great. His first attack does 30 and heals 30, not amazing, but his second attack does 100 for 3, again, not amazing, but it does get 1-shots on both Sigilyph and Suicune. And that's the main reason we run him in this deck. Other than that, you probably don't want to be using him. I mean, he doesn't take out a lot of other things unless they're weak to grass. He probably won't be doing that much damage. It's good to have it as a backup option, and again, even if you just have to stall with it, it only gives up one prize, so not bad. No, it's definitely good to have around. Verzian, as I explained, is mostly being used for Verdant Wind, although he can still use Emerald Slash if you need to. One copy of Jirachi, and this is good to get you out of tough spots, dead draws, bad hands, etc. You can use Stellar Guidance and search for a supporter card and get yourself out of that bad position. One copy of Mr. Mime, because there is so much bench damage attacks and decks in this format. It's always good to have just a one-of copy of Mr. Mime, and if you don't need him in that matchup, you just don't have to play him. It's not that big of a deal. If you lead with him, it's not the worst that could happen. But yeah, that's the Pokemon line in the deck. Let's move on to the trainers. Starting off, we have 2 copies of Bicycle, and Bicycle is actually a pretty good form of draw in this format because of Junk Arm. You can lower down your hand size and get rid of stuff you do not need, and use junk arm for the bike, and draw into a fresh hand of 3 or 4, whatever. Get a good number of cards in your hand. Not amazing, but it definitely is nice. I use it quite a bit, so definitely like it in this deck. 2 copies of Colress Machine. Anyone who's ever played against or with Plasma knows how powerful Colress Machine is for accelerating those Plasma energies out of your deck onto your Pokemon and getting you ready to attack. No different here. This allows you to get like turn 1, turn 2 G boosters. It can turn on a lot of potential for this deck. 1 copy of Energy Retrieval, because G booster does have an energy discard as a requirement to use the attack. This can help you get those back and make that not such a loss for you. 4 copies of Junk Arm. Junk Arm is very, very, very powerful. Some people say broken. I disagree, but it is a very strong effect that allows you to reuse almost anything in your deck whenever you need to. 4 copies is a bit high, and that maybe could be changed because you don't want to have a bunch of them in your hand when you start the game, since without anything in your discard to target, you cannot play them. So there's that. 2 copies of Level Ball. It grabs a lot of things in your deck. It grabs Smeargle, it grabs Celebi, it grabs the Egg, it grabs the Shaman. And it also grabs Jirachi and Mime. So, especially, most notably, Jirachi, Level Ball is good there. It's also good to get a bunch of your Celebis out early game so that you can start switching in between them and accelerating at an absurd rate. If possible, anyway. It's not always going to happen. 1 copy of Max Potion. Again, a questionable tech card. If you've already, say you just G-boosted and you're beat up or whatever, you can just heal up all that damage and deny your opponents those prizes. But a lot of times, it can be hard to use. It just depends. This is probably one of the cards I'd consider changing. 2 copies of Random Receiver, just similar to Jirachi. This is going to always put a supporter in your hand, which is just good. You can also Junk Arm for it, so that's nice. It's similar. It's a way to get a supporter in your hand with no BS Seeker. 1 copy of Super Rod. Again, you are discarding energies, and you also could possibly want to get back, say Celebis or something like that. Super Rod's nice for that. 1 copy of Super Scoop Up. This, again, like Max Potion, can help you deny prizes to your opponent. You can also reuse Jirachi with it if you needed to, or even manipulate things like, use Celebi, Super Scoop it up into another Celebi, use its Forest Breath, and then switch, whatever, and get 2 Celebi attaches in a turn, something like that. Super Scoop Up's nice to have as a 1-up. 3 copies of Switch, again, because you do want to be moving in and out with those Celebis and what's in your active spot and all that. You want to have a lot of mobility and ways to switch around without just your retreat. You only get 1 retreat per turn, but you could play all 3 of these switches in 1 turn if you needed to. 2 copies of Ultra Ball. Very good, especially early in the game. If you say you draw Celebi, but you have no Genesect to attach to or whatever, you can Ultra Ball and get him out and start going on that. Whoops. Moving on to the supporters, we have 1 copy of Colress. Really nice. A lot of decks in this format do fill their bench up quite early on in the game, so Colress is oftentimes a perfectly valid supporter. 1 copy of N, because Genesect does have such a powerful attack and acceleration that he can start taking prizes very early. So a lot of times N is a downside for you. Starting from early on and all the way into late game, N is not super reliable for you. So not a heavy line of N for me. 3 copies of Juniper, because drawing 7 is pretty awesome. 3 copies of Oak, again, because I do prefer this over N. He's always going to draw you 6, no matter what point in the game, and I think that that consistency level is unmatched, and you definitely want to be running a heavier count of Oak in Legacy, and especially Genesect. I mean, like I said, again, feel free to change it. Maybe you run 2 Oak, 2 in if you like, whatever, but this is what I'm going with. 2 copies of Skyla, because you do run so many of these tech cards and things that you want to get for sure into your hand. And most notably, I think, is G Booster. You can Skyla for G Booster and just get the guaranteed 200 damage knockout on anything you want. And that's pretty darn powerful if you ask me. 2 copies of Sky Isle Bridge. It was bugged on PTCGO for a while, but it does appear to be working properly now. And so I definitely think Sky Isle Bridge is the way to go. I originally had like 3 float stones or something absurd like that just to guarantee that I could switch. But Sky Isle Bridge working now will also do the trick. So yeah, Sky Isle Bridge is definitely the best stadium for this deck. You can switch out almost everything in here freely. Actually, everything, right? It's just, yeah, everything in this deck can retreat for free with Sky Isle Bridge. So yeah, definitely want to be using that. 1 copy of Floatstone, you can put that on like Rizian or one of the Celebis if you know you're going to be switching that specific one out a lot. Floatstone's also just good to get you out of bad spots. A-Spec is G-Booster, no questions asked, one of the strongest cards in the deck. It's what puts you over the top in terms of damage output and knockout potential. So G-Booster is what makes this deck the real threat that it is. I mean, the energy acceleration and all that is still very strong, but G-Booster puts you over the top in terms of your damage output and your knockout factor. The energy line are very basic, 8 grass, 4 plasma. You always want to have those plasmas because it allows you to use red signal. It also works with Colorless Machine for added acceleration. So, yep, that's the deck. I hope you like it. I hope it looks interesting to you, and we'll get into a match here shortly, so you can see exactly how it works in action. All right, let's get a match going for you guys with Genesect Celebi or Genebi. Call tails as always, and we do not get the chance to go first this time. That's okay. Our opponent will choose to go first. We start with Rizian, not the ideal start, but certainly fine, better than other things we could start, such as Jirachi. Or Shaman. And yeah, let's just see what we can get into. Okay, we see Riolu. Zora. Okay, he's attaching there. Random receiver. Showing twins, which is not going to help him if he didn't have a supporter already. And yeah, just a pass, so we can live with that. Let's go ahead and level for. I guess I'm going to go Celebi. Since we are probably going to Juniper here, switch into Celebi. Now I probably want to float, and I just had to toss the bike even though I want to use it. Get a Genesect online. Let's go ahead Juniper and get a fresh hand. We do hit double grass, which means we can both Forest Breath and manual attach, which is nice. Yeah, I don't think. Could play this Smeargle, but I think he only has the twins, which would not help us right now. Okay, junk arm and bike. Ironically tossing a bike, but it lowers our hand count, which is the important part. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave things as they are right now. Next turn I can attach Plasma, Juniper, and see what we can get into. See the attachment. See an N. That's fine. Our hand wasn't critical. I mean, we had a way to draw, so. Okay, we do get another grass, and we get another Genesect, which is good. I don't think he has a way to knock me out this turn. Maybe whatever Zoroark can do. Going for a Voltorb. And no attack. Why didn't he attack? I don't understand. Yeah, so I guess we just Force Breath it, right? We don't need to use our attacks just yet. We do have an Ultra Ball. Is it necessary is the question. I don't think so. I think this is fine. Let's go to Super Eye, get it out of my hand. No, I think I do not want. I don't think I want to use the Plasma just yet. And hit the Zora since the Electrode probably blow itself up anyway. However, his Twins is now online. We do have G-Booster in hand, so if he doesn't get something else out, it could just be over. Okay, he does use the end, so bye-bye G-Booster, bye-bye energies. When we get the energies back, I get Skylo for the G-Booster, so that's still a real thing. So what can he really do here? You see a Ditto. Ditto won't be able to evolve this turn though, but it will mean that he doesn't lose by blowing up his Electrode. And he's choosing to just switch into the Electrode as a safety measure. So we've already got energy on that main Genesect. We're going to play Sky Arrow here. I guess we random receiver. Skyla, I don't think what we want to do right now. I mean, we're firmly in the lead, but I feel like we still want to be actively drawing our cards and such. I'm not sure if I need to play any of this. Maybe just to get it out of the deck, but I'm not taking a knockout. But we can at least do the 20 damage on the bench. The main thing being that without that Electro, that means it can't just explode and set up in one turn. Could have put it on the Ditto, but then he would lose his energy. Just the Juniper. Another Voltorb coming down. Fighting energy going onto the Ditto. Again, he's retreating into these Electrodes, Voltorbs rather. Seems unable to get his key evolution pieces that he's needing when he needs them. So you do get a Junk Arm. I don't think any of that is actually necessary right now. Can't play the Plasma, unfortunately, so we will continue taking knockouts and putting on bench damage. We had that G-Booster in our hand, and ever since we've been unable to hang on to it. I believe Lucario has 140 HP, which means this thing will be ready to be killed. Yeah, he does get a Twins finally, which means he can explode his Voltorb maybe and get some setup going on here. So we are seeing the transform. Oh, he only has 100 HP, okay. His Foul Play is now online. He can use my Megalo Cannon on me, which he chooses to do. I'm not sure if he would have been able to choose G-Booster if I had it attached, but that'd be pretty cool. I think I'm going to take out Lucario. I think he has more of an OHKO potential. And, yeah, pretty much. I could try and scoop the, that injured Genesect here. Which I'm going to do. Just take that potential prize liability off the board. I think that seems fine. That's okay, I guess. take out that Lucario, take another prize, and the Zoroark shouldn't be able to do any more than 120 to the bench. Rod. Perhaps gonna recycle his Lucario. Any of those guys. Energies as well. 2 energies on a Riolu. Makes sense. Juniper tossing a DCE, unfortunately. My opponent, that is. We do see a level ball. Grabbing that Riolu. Him come down. Now I do have another G boost, or not G boost, but a red signal rather. So I can get rid of that Lucario, but is that even the right play? Right now, he's not ready. Do I bank on him not having DCE plus the Lucario? Is the question. I could take 2 prizes right now. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave my hand as it is. Doesn't matter, I don't think.
Listen.
And I think that should seal us the game, because even if he takes this prize, I have the backup killer. Skyla for G Booster. It's the Twins. Which means he can hit Lucario. DCE, he can hit his Electro. Well, his Electro, he can't use Electro now because I only have 1 prize left. But yeah, he can get that Lucario online. Is that enough though? At this point, I don't think it is.
Listen to this.
Yeah, he says it's GG. Hurricane Kick for 210. I mean, that's about that's the most you can do with that probably. I know you could do a Bengal. But yeah, so I mean, we have Skyla for G Booster, so it's like extra GG.
Question. Can a dying heart be saved?
Hey, look at this. Can we even do this? Yeah, like... You aren't stopped. Like, what is this? Yeah, so there you go. You get to see the incredible acceleration and the straight kill power of Genesect Celebi. That Celebi helped me early game getting set up, and then I just stayed set up and kept accelerating and kept accelerating. And I mean, I didn't even need to rely on G-Booster there, but you saw how I could just comfortably toss 2 energies away and have it really be nothing and keep attacking and keep, destroying lives. That wasn't maybe the best matchup. He wasn't able to get that critical damage off to take me out early, so he couldn't keep up with that prize exchange. And he also runs a deck that was based on giving me free prizes and then using that as a strength. But Genesect is hard body. That's all I can really say. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said, there'll definitely be more videos coming in the Legacy series. I'm going to cover the main decks first, the meta decks first, and then go on to some rogue, fun, cool strategies, kind of like the one you just got to watch Wriggles play. Cover some of the more fun strategies that you can do in Legacy. So yeah, you guys have a good day, and thank you for watching.